The $147,000 offered for this site by Master Hosts International Incorporated is the highest of the tenders the council has received. On the land it plans to build a motel modelled on its Gazebo Motel in Sydney, which is estimated to cost around about $3 million. It will rise to 14 stories, a circular building, on top of it an architectural feature that will incorporate some of the service facilities. It's estimated that building will begin on the project in 2 to 3 months. There'll be 150 suites in the building. According to Master Hosts International, there are prototypes of these rooms already being tried out, and there'll be all sorts of innovations to bring them up to a very high international standard. Apart from these rooms, there'll be a floor for conferences, there'll be restaurants, cocktail bars, and a heated swimming pool. Parking will be provided undercover for 160 cars. Gazebo is an international word. It means garden house with a view, and there's every chance that this new structure in Newcastle will be called Newcastle's Gazebo.
In these areas, there will be quite a lot of people going to work and wanting to drive there and leave their motor cars in the usual positions. Now, we're seeking your cooperation and asking you particularly that you do not leave your car in any one of these streets.
There'll be police there to direct in the morning?
Yes, there will be police in this area from 6 a.m. in the morning, and their duty will be to request people as they come along to take their car off the route, leave it in the company car park or in a side street.
This also applies to the route through Hunter Street and all the routes along which Her Majesty will travel.
Yes, I'm afraid that there will be some restriction here to the shopping public. From about 10 a.m. in the morning, police will commence to see that nobody leaves their car for any length of time or in a position where they are likely not to be able to shift it during the Royal Progress.
What about in buses, Inspector White?
Well, buses will be permitted to travel right up to the last minute, we hope. We will try and keep the restriction to buses down to a minimum.
Cross traffic on the route?
Cross traffic, people travelling across the route, they'll be allowed to proceed right up to the last minute or practically until Her Majesty is within sight.
The Ampol trial's already beginning to generate a lot of interest and enthusiasm. Passing through Newcastle today is the director of the event, Carl Kennedy. And Carl, you've been working on the project for how long now?
Almost 18 months, touching on 2 years now, Murray.
Well, tell us what you can about the event. I know you can't reveal too much detail about the route of the thing, but tell us what the idea is first.
Certainly not to you, old chap. You're a competitor, that's number one. The route, it starts from all capital cities, and we have an easy rally section, what we call a rally section, which is over good roads, and if I could enlarge on, as we are in New South Wales, enlarge on the one from Sydney to Port Augusta. We go through Newcastle, and the cars will arrive at the Jet Age service station about 11:30, as near as I can work out, for a route check on Saturday the 20th, and then they will go to Tamworth, then to Dubbo, then to Broken Hill, and from thence to Port Augusta. The idea with it, Murray, with the rally sections, they're a little hard, and the reason why we have to go such a long distance, for instance, Adelaide to Port Augusta is 200 miles, but it happens to be 1,508 miles from Perth to Port Augusta. So therefore we have to find a route on as near as possible the same equivalent roads from Adelaide to Port Augusta over the same distance, which puts these boys 1,500 miles from home to Port Augusta. From Port Augusta, the rally gets really competitive to Alice Springs. We have done this with a purpose, and some of the places we'll be going through, Arkaroola, just remember this one, I'm sure you will as a competitor, Oodnadatta. We've put these in because the roads are wonderful rally or trial roads, and they have a name that is so much with Australia, Arkaroola and Oodnadatta and these out of the back places. You only see them on the weather reports and what have you. Anyway, we must get a winner at Alice Springs because that is the finish of one event and the start of another event. From Alice Springs, the cars will go to Mount Isa. In the early stages, it will be, we've even put in some bitumen for you there, but it'll be rather severe to before Mount Isa. Then they go to Cooktown, to Townsville, to Brisbane, Wagga, Adelaide, Melbourne, Albury, and finally to Sydney. I think I've mentioned all the places.
How many cars do you hope to have starting in the event, Carl?
Well, well over the 100. At the moment, I think the entry list is round in the vicinity of 60. But there's a lot of experts and non-experts, Murray, who are sitting on the fence. You know, you don't put your entry in until you find what someone else is putting in. And our experience in previous trials, and this is the 5th trial at Ampol that we have conducted, is that in the last week it's a madhouse. Everybody puts their entry in and what have you, but we expected this type of arrangement with the entries, and it's taking exactly the same pattern as it did in 1964.
You're going to expect people to keep up?
Well, the major average on any section is 48. What the lowest is, with respect, sir, you mind your own business.
Well, I suppose I can ask some leading questions. Do you expect your winner to come from the big cars or the medium-sized cars or the small ones? I should think the small ones will have problems keeping up the times, won't they?
Well, here again, this is a matter of what type of motor car you like. We've set it in the old Ford Falcon GT, which is about as big a motor car as you could find. And when I first looked at this car, I thought, gee, how am I going to get this thing around? But now, knowing the route, if I were going in the trial, I think I'd pick on a Falcon.
Well, you've said exactly the right thing, because that's just what I chose.
Is this what you're taking?
Yes.
Well, I don't think Rex Lewis or any of our people in Newcastle office has given you any prior information. But if it goes like this one, Murray, but to be serious and back to the point, perhaps a mediocre-sized motor car may have an advantage. I don't know. A limited slip diff will certainly be a big advantage, because there's many miles of the trial that you know, we don't say follow the road, we say follow the creek bed. And there's quite a few miles of the road where this car that we're beside this morning is the first conventional drive car that has ever been on these roads.
I see.
We've chosen a lot of private roads. Now, in doing this makes it safer for the competitors, And we certainly don't want to offend road users where it's on highways and things like that. For instance, in the rally section, the average over the entire rally section on bitumen roads is 42 mile an hour. Well, this may annoy other competitors along with yourself a little bit, but we also don't want to annoy the private road user.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for telling us something about it, Carl, and we'll be very interested in everything that you do and in the whole event.
Well, all I can say, the best of luck to you. And if you win it, Murray, I'll be there with my hand out because you will be a hero.
Thank you very much. Our guest, Carl Kennedy, the director of the Ampol trial.